Welcome you guys back to What If Bardock's squad survived. This time, we have the beginning of the Buu arc. The like goal for this video will be 3,000 likes. Do you guys think we can hit it? Come on squad, let's do this. Anyways, enjoy. Peace has returned to Earth. Following the battle against the androids, Goku and Vegeta continue their mission to become the strongest in the world. The Saiyan squadron has been divided through the universe. While Fasha and Tora remain on Earth, Bardock has gone to the future along with Trunks in order to help him reconstruct Earth and along the way, find new planet Namek, asking Porunga to rebuild Earth to its former glory. Meanwhile, Shugesh decides to take the stars once more. His mission has been to prepare the Saiyans for the possible resurrection of Majin Buu, as he found out about the monster's existence many years ago. He now searches the universe for more answers. Before he left, however, he helped Vegeta undergo some training. He taught the prince many spiritual and key focus techniques. This is because Shugesh saw himself in Vegeta and knew that Vegeta was a better person than he let on. When he eventually departed, he hoped that the prince would remember his training, reflecting on his past and overcoming his personal demons. Fasha and Piccolo continued their training in the highlands, living together as nomads for many years. But as time passed, they slowly settled down in the lands under the Lookout, a place where Piccolo could be close to Dende while living by himself. Fasha didn't mind. She understood that having personal space was important, but she made sure to camp close by anyways, so she could always keep training with Piccolo. She even got along with the Karinga tribe, whose warrior-centered culture she enjoyed and respected. Bardock returned from the future and told everyone about his adventures, and how he watched Trunks defeat the future androids in Cell. Bardock meets with Tora and Dende at the Lookout. Tora had decided to watch over Earth along with Dende as his new assistant, in order to safeguard the planet Goku and his family loved so dearly. After reminiscing on their past on Namek, and their battles against the androids, Bardock decides it's time to head back home. After receiving directions from Dende and a new ship from Bulma, Bardock bids farewell to his friends as he heads off to New Namek, but not before telling Fasha and Tora that they would meet again. Thus, peace reignited. Goku and Chi-Chi had another son, Goten, who spent a lot of time with Tora at the Lookout. Goten called him Grandpa Tora because he sometimes acted like an overprotective old geezer. Meanwhile, Trunks was a big fan of Fasha, who didn't treat him like a child, and would often spar with her whenever Goku and Vegeta were busy training together. Gohan even goes to Tora for help about a girl at school, Videl, but Tora is hopeless when it comes to girls. Fasha tells him to never go to him again because she will help him instead, and sure enough, Fasha's suggestions worked out. The pair would go to the land of Korin to train together alongside Piccolo and Fasha. Fasha liked Videl. She was a tenacious fighter, just like her. She also noticed Videl's feelings for Gohan. She understands how thick-headed men can be while looking over at Piccolo and remembering Nail. She smiles and adds that, despite how frustrating things can be, it's worth it for the people you care about. Piccolo pretended not to hear, though his ears perked up. One night, while at the Lookout, Tora and Dende got a message telepathically. It was Shugesh, explaining that he would be returning soon with some friends. Babidi was on the move, heading towards Earth. Tora was worried, but Shugesh told him to keep things quiet from Goku and the rest. Shugesh originally thought that Gohan would be the one to lead them to victory. However, he realized long ago that Gohan was a quiet and gentle boy who didn't want to fight. Gohan, his father, and the other fighters, they had been through too much already. So, it was just up to the original Bardock squad for this battle. Months passed by as Tora continued training and overseeing the events unfolding on Earth. He prayed that they would be strong enough to overcome whatever threat came their way. He swore to himself that he would keep Bardock's family safe, and he intended to continue keeping that promise. A few days before Shugesh was supposed to return, Bardock was messaged telepathically by Tora. Tora told his friends the details about the upcoming threat, and Bardock was more than happy to come lend his help. The day of the tournament arrived, and the Sea Fighters gathered together. Fasha and Piccolo were approached by Krillin and 18, who are still married in this timeline. While Krillin attempted to make small talk and Piccolo remained stoic as ever, Fasha and 18 stared each other down. After fighting so many times in the past, they had considered each other to be rivals. 18 asked Fasha if she was going to participate in the tournament, but Fasha laughed and shrugged her shoulders. Oh, that little pissing contest? It was a waste of time in her eyes. Most of the fighters here weren't even a challenge. Fasha looked at 18 with a smug grin, saying that if she wanted to play fight with those chums for some paltry cash, then that's her business. Besides, if she did join the tournament, there's no way that she'd let her win. Electricity sparkled between the two women's eyes, as 18 challenged Fasha to a fight, calling her an old hag, as a vein popped in Fasha's forehead. Oh, they were going to have a battle alright. When this tournament is over, they'll settle the score once and for all. Krillin and even Piccolo looked in fear. Krillin whispered that women were a little scary, and Piccolo slowly nodded his head. What they didn't expect was Shugesh to show up with two mysterious strangers, but Piccolo's eyes widened as they approached. He recognized what they were, Hyoshin. Neither Shin nor Shugesh explained much, simply saying to have a good battle. Shugesh took Tora aside to explain the plan, but Tora seemed upset. Gohan looked at them from afar. It was clear they were talking about him. In reality, Tora was arguing with Shugesh that he would not allow Gohan to be attacked and used as bait. Shugesh tried to reason with him that this was bigger than any of them and that Gohan would be okay, but Tora wouldn't listen. When the matches finally began, Videl squared off against the brute Popovich. Thankfully, thanks to her additional training and guidance from Fasha and Piccolo, Videl was far more powerful than she is in canon. Her aggressive fighting style complemented Fasha's techniques, while her tactical strikes and quick thinking echoed Piccolo's training. Thanks to this, Videl was actually able to defeat Popovich. He was furious, and he almost blew his cover, but his partner, Yamu, held him back. No, the girl wouldn't provide the power they needed. They had to be patient. Surely a new fighter will appear that will meet their needs. Their patience paid off. When Gohan faces off against the enigmatic Kibito, he asked the boy to transform into a Super Saiyan 2, to which Gohan happily obliged. Seeing this incredible display of power, Yamu and Popovich attacked. Tora knew this was coming, and he jumps in the way, but Shugesh gets a hold of his cape. Shin tries to tell him to calm down, but it is Goku who jumps in and attacks Yamu. It didn't matter, they had enough energy, and the pair blasted off. Gohan was okay, but Shin yelled at Tora. He finally explained the situation to everyone. Those were Babidi's minions, and they were on their way to revive Majin Buu. They can now follow them to this location. Goku and the others were confused, but Shugesh grabbed Goku's arm, telling him that he doesn't need to worry. That's why they didn't tell anyone, because this tournament is a time to enjoy themselves. He then turned to Fasha and Borgos, saying that it is up to their squad, let the old guard handle this. This was their battle to fight. Piccolo also spoke up, saying that he'd rather join the Saiyan in stopping Babidi than participate in the tournament. He was their master in another life, and it's only fitting that he'd be alongside them. Goku told them that he would help if things get out of control, and reluctantly agreed, because he was very excited to fight Vegeta once more. But he swore that if he sensed anything wrong, he would teleport over to them in a flash. Shugesh thanked him for everything, as the team, led by Tora and Shin, followed the Majins to Babidi's ship. But trouble begins right away, as the evil Demon King Dabura not only sees and kills Kibito, but spits on Tora and Piccolo. While Piccolo is helplessly turned into stone, Tora manages to take off his armor just in time. Fasha explodes in rage, but Dabura blips backwards before she can attack, inviting them onto the ship. These villains have been hyped up to be the strongest in the galaxy by Shugesh and the Kais, but their first match was a small fry. Shugesh was familiar with this race and planet. In fact, that was where he had first encountered the evil Babidi and his minions. This was the sum of many years of training. He had to win. It didn't take much. Despite not having Super Saiyan himself, Pui Pui was nothing. Shin smiled as he thought back to all the progress his comrade had made. The Supreme Kai had encountered Shugesh years ago, when their respected investigations of Babidi caused them to cross paths. Shin had taken a liking to Shugesh, seeing a flawed man who fought against the darkness in his heart, and overcame it to become someone better. He assisted him in investigating, and Shin even helped him train for the upcoming battles. Despite Kibito's protest, Pui Pui was blown to bits, and they moved on to the second stage. Yakon was a much more fearsome foe. The Saiyans felt weak as their ki was taken away. They kept asking themselves, what would Bardock do? This eventually evolved into, what would Goku do? That's when it hit Tora, who transformed into a Super Saiyan and poured all of his ki into Yakon, destroying him. It was time for their toughest challenge yet, Dabura. He felt similar in power to the Incredible Cell, but Fasha was sure that he could take him on. She goes up to the bat, ready to avenge Piccolo. She immediately transformed into a Super Saiyan 2, and her powers shocked both Dabura and the Kai. She was doing well, fighting aggressively and keeping the pressure on Dabura, so that he was forced to stay on the defensive. He tried to spit on her, but she was way too fast. He attempted to counter the blows with a kick, but Fasha easily blocked it, saying that she knows a hot-headed, stubborn woman with blonde hair that throws kicks far stronger than that. Comparatively speaking, Fasha is probably more adept than the other 4. Her constant training with Piccolo, Trunks, and Goku made sure that she would keep up with the mightiest foes. Tora hated to admit it, but he was now the second strongest in the squad. Shugesh was annoyed, demanding Tora to explain himself. Did he actually think he was stronger than him? As the two Saiyans bickered to Borgo's side as he looked on to the battle. Fasha was a marvel to watch. It was clear that she had been practicing some of Bardock's and Piccolo's moves. She stopped Dabura's sword with a spirit cannon and kept him at bay with a Hellzone grenade. Dabura realized that they were fairly matched and informed Babidi of it. He could hold her off, but he wasn't sure if he could face all of them at once. Concerned that their power gathering would end quickly, Babidi analyzed the minds of the Saiyans. Though there were hints of evil in all of them, it was clear that he would not be able to possess them in their current state. He looked further, discovering an awesome battle between Goku and Vegeta going on in the tournament arena. That Vegeta guy had a dark aura, but his mind and heart were stronger than any other. His love for his family and his new home planet prevented Babidi from accessing his mind. Babidi concluded that he would have to pull out a more advanced technique, darker magic than usual. If you're familiar with side stories like Shin Budokai or Budokai 2, you know that Babidi can do much more than take over minds in those stories. He can bring forth the dead simply from the memories of his adversaries, and he did just that. While looking into Fasha and Tora's mind, he finds fond memories of a powerful Saiyan warrior, one whom they trusted and one whom they would fall to. A crack of lightning was heard across the plain as Dabura disappeared. Smoke surrounded them, and they found themselves in a familiar area. Planet Vegeta, their village. The smoke slowly dissipates to reveal the back of a man standing before them. The 4 Saiyans stood dead in their tracks. They recognized him instantly. Tora took a slow step towards him, saying his name. Bardock? The man turned to look at them. The hair, the scar, the armor. It was really him. They couldn't believe it, but his head was down. There was something wrong. Fasha started to run towards him, but Borgos grabbed her shoulder, stopping her. He said to feel his ki. Her eyes widened. It was dark, contaminated by evil. This was more like the Bardock from their youth, not the one that saved his son. No, it was even darker than that. Kaioshin had one response. This was Babidi's tricks. Forbidden black magic was used to revive a loved one and take control of them. Bardock smirked, slowly lifting his head up to reveal a dark M carved on his forehead. Bardock's voice echoed as he asked, why didn't they go back for him? Why didn't they save him? Why did they get to live, but he didn't? Fasha was struck with shock and fell back into her base form. Tora yelled that they wanted to save him, but there was nothing they could do. They were ambushed by Dodoria. He took steps towards Bardock. Fasha tried to stop him, saying that he was just trying to get in their head, but he wouldn't listen. Tora continued to walk, tears on his face. He tried to explain that they barely survived and they spent many years stranded on an alien world, hoping beyond all hope that he was still alive. Every word he spoke cut them like a knife. Bardock had one final question. Why did they not revive him? He took a battle stance. He then took the chance to punch Tora across the face, sending him flying into a mountain. Bardock laughed loudly as his aura exploded and he became a Super Saiyan. His power pushed thanks to Babidi's magic. Tora rubbed his face and looked at him in shock. Bardock didn't even look back as he shot a blast at Tora. His eyes widened while he let out a light sound, but he couldn't move. His best friend, his leader, a man he admired above all, had just turned against him. A large figure appeared before him, standing in front of the blast and taking it with full force. It was Borgos. He protected him. Bardock laughed, saying that he was aiming for the bigger threat, but the vermin had stepped in the way. Borgos fell back, dropping out of Super Saiyan. He coughed out blood. When Tora caught him, he tried to get him to calm down, asking him to stay with them, but it was too late. The gentle giant could only tell his friend to protect their family. Borgos slowly passed away. This Bardock was incredibly powerful. Dabura laughed from behind Bardock, appearing from the shadows. He declared that the real fight begins now, and that Majin Buu would soon return. Tora damped him and Bardock, while Shugesh and Fasha got in their battle stance. Bardock and Dabura opened their auras, causing such a shock that the ship itself began to fall apart. Babidi was forced to take the egg outside while the ship crumbled, teleporting everyone to the desert. Not too far away, Vegeta and Goku threw one more punch during their awesome match. The arena was nearly destroyed. People ran from the stands and the commentator shook with every attack, but they felt the ki of Bardock rise up. This wasn't good. They didn't know who it was, but they knew it meant trouble. Then they felt Borgo's ki drop. All the Z fighters looked at each other. Goku said Vegeta's name, and they nodded at each other. Before they left, Goku told Bulma, Krillin, and the others to collect the Dragon Balls, just in case. The team blasted off towards Babidi's ship. The Saiyan squadron was not alone. and would never be alone again. Fasha jumped in front of Tora and Borgos, saying that she would be the one to face Bardock. She turned to Tora, Shugesh, and Shin, telling them to keep Dabura at bay in the meantime. Shin tried to tell them that the more they fought, the more energy they gave to Buu, but Fasha wouldn't listen. She was already swapping blows with Bardock. Bardock grinned, asking Fasha if she had gotten any stronger since the last time they met. Fasha merely stared in utter fury. She gave Bardock a final offer to stand down and join them, or else. Bardock spat on the floor, saying that friends were worthless, and their power was the only thing he could ever count on. Fasha charged her ki, her rage creating shockwaves across the wasteland, which scared Dabura, but amused Bardock. Fasha coldly told him, "If you don't come back to us, I'll break every bone in your body and force you to come back." Bardock was very sadistic in his attacks, mocking Fasha as they fought. He asked why Fasha bothered protecting a weakling like Kakarot, why she was not the one to avenge him and kill Frieza. He even told her that it was her carelessness that caused him to leave. Fasha gritted her teeth and told him to shut up. His words were really breaking down his friend. Vegeta, Goku, and Gohan zoomed onto the scene, where Goku was confused. That man looked very similar to himself. Fasha told Goku to get away, to which the Majin Saiyan smirked and punched Fasha in the gut. She fell onto the floor, while Bardock tilted his head at Goku. So, this was his son. My, he had grown up. But was it worth saving him? He shouldn't have been so selfless. He should have just saved himself, not even Gine. Goku didn't know what to say. Even when Bardock rushed to attack, Goku kept on the defensive. He was too shooken up by what he was saying. This was the man that Tora, Fasha, and Shugesh spoke so highly of all these years. Yet here he stands now, as a sadistic maniac. Meanwhile, Tora and Dabura's match raged on. He told Shugesh to stay out of it, while he pummeled Dabura. But it looked like he had underestimated the Demon King, as he materialized the sword and slashed through Tora's back. The pain was so intense, he was brought down to his knees. Gohan rushed in, slamming Dabura across the face. He was sent flying back, to which Vegeta appeared to elbow him back down. Tora rubbed his eyes to see a smiling Gohan giving him a hand. He took it, and he broke the sad news to him that Piccolo had been turned to stone. Gohan nodded, saying that they will avenge him and get him back. Shin told everyone to look at the egg near Babidi. It was steaming. Buu's birth was almost complete. Vegeta, Shugesh, and Shin rushed over, with Fasha and Tora switching places in the fight. Gohan and Fasha faced off against Dabura, as Vegeta and Shin tried to kill Babidi. However, Babidi was crafty, panicking as he kept using magic to create illusions and shields to protect himself. Vegeta was getting rather annoyed with this wrinkled spud. Meanwhile, Goku and Tora fought Majin Bardock. Goku didn't want to hurt him. He didn't care that he was his father. He cared that he was Tora's best friend. But Tora yelled at him that nothing Bardock was saying was true, that Bardock loved Kakarot and gave his life to save him. This basically gave Goku a clear path to do one thing: kick his ass. Goku transformed into a Super Saiyan 2, uppercutting Bardock in the chin and sending him up to the sky. Bardock stopped himself, wiping some blood and laughing. This was what he was waiting for. The two Saiyans traded blows for a while Vegeta and Fasha finished off Dabura. But it was all for naught, as Dabura opened his eyes slowly, extremely hurt, to watch Majin Buu's egg crack open. Nothing Shugesh and Gohan did stopped the resurrection. Kaioshin knew that it was all over. All the fighting stopped as they watched the rebirth of Buu, the pink blob stumbling out of the cloud of smoke. Babidi commanded him to attack, with all the heroes getting in their battle formation. But Buu simply played around, battling the heroes, but never trying too hard. Majin Bardock thought that this was ridiculous. He watched everyone battle Buu, but one person approached him: Tora. He asked why he was doing this, which Bardock replied by saying that this was what he was born to do, to battle viciously and conquer his enemies. Nothing more, as a true Saiyan should. But Tora knew that this wasn't true. All these years they learned from Goku, Gohan, and even Vegeta and the Namekians that Saiyans were much more than what they were born to be. His son was a prime example of that. Bardock stayed quiet. Tora extended his hand out to Bardock, holding something. It was a bandana, red with blood. Tora said that Kakarot wore it during his battle against Frieza, and to him, it contained the spirits of not only the entire Saiyan squad, but Bardock as well. The Majin warrior took it, looking at it pensively. Tora left to battle Buu, without saying another word. But the battle against Buu was not going well. A single angry explosion sent everyone flying away. Shugesh damned the world. He trained all these years just to see his friends be decimated by Buu, just like when Dabura annihilated his crew on planet Zune. No, not again. He refused to let this happen. He devised a plan. He would get Gohan's energy back. While Buu fought against Goku, Gohan, and Vegeta, Fasha noticed Dabura standing back up. He wasn't going to support Buu on her watch. She launched herself forward to confront Dabura, but she noticed something. It was Shugesh sneaking around. He teleported over right behind Buu, grabbing a hold of his head tentacle. Buu was confused, even shooting a chocolate beam that barely missed Shugesh's face. Shugesh finally pushed himself back with his feet, jumping off of Buu. He felt a lot of energy being poured out. He had just used Spirit Fission to take away all of the power that Buu has stolen from Gohan. However, that wasn't the only thing that Shugesh took from Buu. A dense cloud of steam came from him, and a large amount of energy made everyone scurry back. The steam dissipated, and two Majin Buu stood next to each other, one gray one and one pink. Shin asked Shugesh what he had just done. He doomed the universe. Shugesh looked at his hands, afraid and confused. Babidi celebrated until he watched the gray Buu turn the other one into candy and eat him, once again transforming. This was insane, Fasha thought. Super Buu was born, and he was not amused by the lack of power around him. Dabura asked Babidi if this was part of the plan, to which Babidi commanded Buu to finally kill Kaioshin and the rest. Super Buu didn't move an inch. He simply admired his hands. Dabura walked up to him, punching him in the face, yelling at him to listen to Lord Babidi. Super Buu did not flinch. Instead, he shifted his eyes to look at Dabura, flicked his finger towards him, and a mass of his own body engulfed the Demon King, absorbing him. Another piece of himself lunged towards Babidi, who yelled in fear. A bright light consumed the arena while Buu's power shot up. Super Buu was the strongest being around, and now he was even smarter because of Babidi. He smiled at Shin and turned to look at everyone. Super Buu said he wanted a real challenge. His power was enough to cause the fighters around to shudder in fear. Nonetheless, Shugesh, Fasha, Tora, Goku, Vegeta, and Gohan all rushed towards Buu. Shugesh tried to Spirit Fission out Dabura and Babidi, but Buu knew Shugesh's trick now and would never let that happen again. Buu grabbed Shugesh's arm and broke it in half, throwing him across the field into Shin. Kaioshin healed him while he tried to think of what to do, but sadly, it looked like they may have to retreat at the rate they were going. Buu was not only more powerful thanks to Dabura, but he now had Babidi's magic and intelligence. Shin asked Shugesh if he could teleport again, because he would need his help saving the fighters. At the tournament, people started to realize something strange going on. All the fighters had left, and it looked like nothing else was going to happen. Mr. Satan was declared the winner, but he was worried, looking around for Videl. Unbeknownst to him, 18 Krillin, Goten, Trunks, even Videl, they had all joined Bulma and Chi-Chi in finding the Dragon Balls. Shugesh declares himself as the one to defeat Buu. Pointing towards himself, Buu slaps Tora away and laughs, saying that the only one he cares about is Goku, the one giving him at least a little bit of a challenge. A blob of pink shoots towards Goku, but a giant foot crashes down on it. It was Giant Shugesh. Goku recognized this. It was a Yardrat technique, but that wasn't all. Shugesh multiplicated himself in order to battle Buu. Everyone watched in awe as hundreds of Shugesh stormed the monster. Buu loved it, but his target was still Goku. From his body shot out spikes of his own mass, striking the various Shugesh and making them disappear. But one of the spikes zoomed all around so fast that no one could follow it, confusing it with other spikes. But it rapidly approached Goku from behind. Gohan noticed, yelling out his father's name, but it never struck him. Goku realized a shadow being cast on him. He slowly turned around to see Bardock, some blood dripping from his mouth. Goku's eyes widened as he realized Bardock was wearing the bandana that Goku himself had worn many years ago. Bardock smiled at his son, saying that he was sorry for the stuff he said, but he saved Kakarot for a reason, and now he had to do it again. Goku reached out to Bardock, but the spike enveloped itself around his father, dragging him into Buu. One more absorption. Goku yelled at Buu. The only thing he was able to grab was Bardock's headband. He felt someone grab his arm. It was Shugesh. The heroes were teleported from Earth into the Kaioshin realm. Goku put 2 fingers on his forehead, about to teleport back, but Shin asked him to stop. They were the only hope for Earth. Shugesh's clones are still fighting down there, which should buy them some time. Goku looked helplessly at the bandana in his hands, telling Shugesh to tell them as soon as the last clone disappeared. Shin continued to argue, but Gohan said that he would stay and undergo any training that needed to be done, and would need his father's help. Thus, training for Gohan began with the Z sword. The challenges against Majin Buu continue next time on Dragon Ball Z. Thank you so much for watching, guys. We are in the final stretch of the Bardock Squad saga, and remember to tune in tomorrow for the next part. the end of the Buu arc. As always, thank you to Professor Chimp for helping out with the story. This one is more or less our baby. I'm really excited for you guys to see the next part. It might be my favorite one so far. I also have a special treat for you guys next week, as I will be finally doing one that you guys have been asking for a very long time. What if Goku and Vegeta revived the Saiyans? I'm recording this at like 3 in the morning, and I don't actually have time to do the usual spiel that I do at the very end, so please forgive me. I will do better next time. If you haven't already, be sure to check out What If Vegeta Met His Father in Hell, parts 1 and 2. It's a really cool story exploring Vegeta's character. I love it, and I'm sure you guys will too. Anyways guys, be sure to like, share, comment, and subscribe. And until we meet again, see ya!
Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to SmugStick, unless you want to be destroyed.
Lord Beerus, that's hardly fair. But also, don't forget to click the bell icon to get notified when he uploads new videos.